Oh, wait, hold on. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. Everybody, welcome back to this episode of Think Business Live. I'm sitting here with Patrick Hulswitt. Hold on. my like,
Right on cue.
I'm getting spammed. This is a little crazy, right? Anyway, sorry about that. Patrick, it's great to connect with you. Patrick is with Industrial Services Inc. headquartered in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I'm looking forward to give everybody a quick gist about your company.
So we are a thermal and moisture protection company in the commercial construction marketplace out of Ann Arbor. We do business for the big three: universities, private development. Everything that we do is meant to protect the building envelope, so waterproofing, air barriers, caulking, everything related to energy efficiency and keeping the weather, the elements out of the building. So
yeah. And so I wanted to kind of dive into and talk about, I've been talking to a lot of people on the show about just how they're kind of adapting right now, right? So as we're talking now, it's July 15th. We are still in COVID world, and companies are adapting. Many studies have pointed pre-COVID that this was the decade of adaptation. Adapting. Universities were trying to figure out how to teach adaptation to just their classes, because studies show that by the year 2030, 85% of the jobs that don't exist today.
Right.
And so with that, we've had to adapt a lot faster, and companies are adapting. And so in your space, when it comes to what you do, how are you adapting as a business?
Well, construction historically has been a hands-on, labor-intensive trade.
Right.
The hardest part about the work was the work. Today, everything just, I guess, probably keeping up with, like you said, the millennials and the new workforce, the new way to work, so to speak. Technology is something that we continue to push to help in those endeavors and to keep, up with all the paperwork, so to speak, on that side. And really, we've just been trying to hone our skills and level up, if you will, in an effort to keep up with the changes. And, there's constantly a safety protocol to get on job sites, notify of COVID exposures, you name it. Everything is safety when it comes to the jobs. And then the COVID situation that we're all dealing with right now has definitely changed that a little bit. And we're reacting as fast as we can. And really, technology is probably the biggest thing. Some business intelligence is the biggest thing that we are pushing to keep up with that challenge, if you will.
Yeah, I want to talk about technology, but I also want to talk about just kind of core fundamentals, because I find that this happened so suddenly, and it really kind of got companies in line with if they were in alignment or out of alignment with their values. And I think that's where it all starts, right? It's everybody's kind of rewriting their playbook, and everybody is looking at their vision and saying, hey, where are we going? But it's all anchored in values, typically the vision. And so talk a little bit about that. I just want to kind of go down to the bedrock of that, because, a lot of times, companies don't even have values. And the ones that do, I think, are having an easier time rebounding and being resilient, because there's like a foundation that they've been living on. Your values are on your website: honesty, trust, hard work, respect, and integrity. And so can you kind of talk about that, Patrick, as far as what that means? Hey. This is live, no editing, right? I got spam, right? So what does it mean? Like, so how have you kind of anchored into that during these times?
I'm sorry. That's my 9-year-old daughter. Speaking of technology, wants to FaceTime me.
Hey,
first time all week.
Family first, if you need to get that.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Right. So, as far as our fundamentals, honesty, integrity, really, what this company was built on was hard work, doing what you say, saying what you do. We've sometimes as constructors or construction professionals, if you will, kind of get a bad rap, maybe being a little underhanded or sharkish. But I found the best way to build our business was by asking for a fair wage for a fair day's work. That's gained us a lot of respect in our industry and in our marketplace. It's helped us to build our business organically, if you will. And as things kind of change, the only thing we're lacking on our vision and values is some, like I said, business intelligence and software. But getting back to it, really, it's just hard work. We work hard from top to bottom and everywhere in between. You either kind of sink or swim or fit in or don't in our organization, which oftentimes kind of leaves us a little bit lean. But in construction, that's not a bad thing. We still service our clients. We still jump for our clients, and I think that's at the end of the day, that's really what's made us effective and successful. And we're kind of adjusting and shifting and working to improve on that again with the use of some technology and working with mentors like you, and I've got another coach that I work with just to continually hone and sharpen the skill set, the knife, if you will, and continue to execute, whether it's a bad marketplace, a pandemic, or 3 months ago we were booming. So here we are.
Yeah, it's I mean, in February, here we are in July already. And mid-March, we were, everybody was first week in March, everything was humming. We heard about this thing that was going on in other parts of the world. And then boom. And being in the construction business, you really, it's like reconstructing the business right now. Yeah. And so, your DNA is kind of fit for this. And so, but I want to touch on something that you talked about when it comes to hard work, because you mentioned that a couple times.
Yeah.
And to me, the difference between, person A and person B, company A and company B is execution, right? And that execution is just another word for hard work, and as you saying, doing what you say. And so from how do you kind of stay resilient and continually execute when days can be challenging, right? So as somebody who's running a company, you got to be the realist, the cheerleader, the visionary, the integrator, the everything. How do you do that? Because I think everybody wants to know. Everyone wants to get the nugget of what everybody else is doing and thinking.
I drink a lot of IPA beer. That helps quite a bit.
Right.
No, I really, I've got a really kind of since inception, the vision and values helped. That kind of keeps everything in line and moving forward. But we've been able to attract a lot of good people, and they believe in the vision and the push. It's exhausting. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But there is satisfaction in what we do. After all, I mean, we build landmarks. Little Caesars World Headquarters, Pistons Performance Center, Toyota, all brand new 2 million square foot manufacturing facility down in Alabama. It's all hard work, and it's kind of in our core, and it's in my DNA. I can't remember who said it. I think it was one of my, I'm a motocross fanatic. One of the champions in an interview probably said it. And, you know, what I make up for in intelligence or talent, or what I lack in talent, I make up for with hard work.
Yeah.
And that's really it. And despite, you know, naysayers or, you know, different opinion, there's still men and women out there that get up every day. They love working. You know, they'd rather be here in office, out in the field, than maybe at home or doing something different. But at the end of the day, it's challenging, but it's also rewarding. And as you know, I lean on my people. I lean on mentors to kind of help get through it. I'm like I said, a fanatic when it comes to action sports. So, you know, I do some mountain biking to kind of blow off steam.
Yeah.
Recently have been wild about yoga. It's helped me physically and mentally to kind of clear my mind. And that's my biggest plight, is I'm a thinker. So to be able to clear my mind is really important. And again, just having a good group around you and cutting out some time to clear your mind and get in a good headspace so that you can come in recharged and ready to attack the day. Because whether it's a pandemic or, you know, some kind of construction schedule or issue, there's always a challenge in our business, probably just like yours or anybody else's for that matter.
Let's talk about mentors for a minute, because I'm a big believer that we all need a minimum of 3 mentors. Yeah. I think that mentorship is really important for a lot of reasons, on a personal level, on a business level, because it keeps it just holds a level of accountability. It gives someone a place to ask questions and process things. And so talk a little bit about mentorship, not only for you, but how you incorporate mentorship throughout your business and with your people.
So in 2009, we restructured this organization, and I went from working with a couple different people on some startup type businesses, and, you know, creating divisions within their business based on my past experience. And it kind of, I watched some struggles, had some struggles myself. And, you know, when I had an opportunity to do this in industrial services, my biggest fear was failure. You know, I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to fail on my behalf, on my family's behalf, on the folks that joined me in this endeavor. You know, I want to make sure I can pay my guys and my people. And I didn't want to fail at the client level either. So I sought out a business coach, Jon Dwoskin, and here in town, and started with him like pretty much out of the gate. And really what he did was kind of open up my eyes to what I don't know. And just he's been there, done that, whether it was a monumental success or a failure. He helped me through that. My dad, you know, 3 mentors, if you will, you know, worked in automotive, obviously raised a family. I was part of that, and moved across the country, had a bunch of different stints in a bunch of different businesses. So, you know, oftentimes I found myself talking to him. And when I was looking to sharpen my skill set and expand my thinking and vision and define it a little bit better, I found you, and have been working with you for a few months now, or 6 months it's been already, and 7 months, all in an effort just to get better. And,
yeah.
I owe it to my family, I owe it to my friends, I owe it to my employees, I owe it to my clients, and I owe it to myself to get better, you know?
Yeah. I love what you're talking about as far as just getting better, because I think sometimes a lot of people get stuck and a lot of people get complacent, and especially now where, you know, it's been, people have worked, I think, equivalent to 4 months or 4 years in the last 4 months. 4 months. It's been a lot of ups and downs and changes and rewriting of playbooks and realizing where your gaps are that you didn't even know were there. We were all coming off of a very strong market, and now it's just a different market. So getting better today, it really kind of, I think, looks different than it did even 4 months ago, because what, to the person out there who's thinking, wow, they keep on doing kind of the definition of insanity. I keep, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, or stuck in complacency, or stuck because they don't know what to do because the market has shifted for all of us, right? What advice would you give them for taking kind of that first step towards mentorship? Because, and I don't mean to be long-winded, but I just want to add this. I appreciate your openness as far as talking about, you needed help going back to 2009 and you wanted to get better. But most people, I find, have trouble asking for help and investing not only in themselves, but in the time it takes to actually do the work.
Yeah.
So,
especially as men, right? I mean, we know it all. We won't pull over, ask for directions, when we're lost. We just keep, it's got to be this way.
Right.
But that's kind of a hard question to answer. It's just, obviously everybody's different. I think the folks that, I almost think you have to have either an inherent want to improve, or maybe you have somebody around you that sees your potential and kind of pushes and nudges and maybe forces you to improve. Getting back to like your earlier statement, part of, and it's something that came through, the past 10 years of coaching. Part of my job, part of my responsibility as a owner and a leader is to mentor and develop other leaders. What good is it having a team if everybody just waits for me to command them? So I encourage, our team to continually look to improve. One of the most frustrating things for me is when you recognize potential in somebody and you offer some guidance or some steps or suggestions, or just say, hey, I'm here if you need or want. And maybe they don't take it, or maybe they don't just believe, but asking for help, with anything is the hardest thing, whether it's business, addiction, you name it. But I think it just comes from either outsiders or it's within. It's something that you kind of have to strive to go out and seek.
Yeah, no, I agree. As a leader, and one of my favorite quotes that I have heard recently, and I feel like I never heard it up until recently. Maybe I had, but I didn't realize it, is, Steve Jobs' quote on leadership, which is, if you want to make everybody happy, don't be a leader, sell ice cream. Right? Yeah. So as a leader, we have to make decisions and we have to do things that maybe the collective, everyone maybe isn't always happy about. And especially right now, because of so many, changes, there's a lot of changes being made and many different levels of leadership all over the world right now, that there's so many conflicting opinions. But zooming into your business, not necessarily the world right now, how, as a leader, how do you find yourself, having to say some difficult things to people, or maybe everyone's not in agreement, but you have to lead?
Yeah, I mean, this pandemic, if you will, I don't even like, probably like everybody else, it's a tough thing to verbalize,
right?
But it is what it is. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No worries. As a leader, how do you find yourself leading, even when you're having to lead not only through difficult times,
the tough decisions?
Making some tough decisions.
It's at the end of the day, the hardest thing for me was just realizing that it's out of my control. And again, at the end of the day, we have to look for sustainability and what is going to keep us afloat. I mean, we're still really in the midst of this thing, and
yeah,
we had to make a lot of hard decisions, regarding people's livelihood, and we're still kind of coming out of it. And there's people that we had to lay off, just based on what was and wasn't going to happen once things went back to normal, so to speak. And yeah, it's part of that referring back to that IPA, or probably even better, some yoga or bike ride or some motocross or something like that, is being able to clear your head. And at the end of the day, just you have to just be in agreement and understand with yourself that you're doing the best you can, that you're making the best decision based on what you know. And again, it kind of goes back to the mentorship, and talking to people. I mean, I talk to a lot of my peers. I've talked to mentors like you. I talked to my dad for a lot of times, and my Jon Dwoskin, my other business coach, talked to him quite a bit, and just try to navigate. Lean on the people around you. Reach out. Again, it's that asking for help. Hey, never been here. I want to make sure I'm here for you, whether it's an employee or a client. I want to make sure I'm here for you whenever this stuff, comes back on. So,
well, I love what you're talking about, because you're talking about talking to a lot of people. And right now, as everyone's going through it, everybody's rewriting their playbook, and everybody's just got to talk to as many people as good old fashioned talking to a lot of people and just getting a lot of it out. Right. Picking up the phone. I mean, that is so important.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, where do you see your industry changing because of it's a question I ask people on the podcast for many, many years. Hey, when we talk about innovation, where do you see, the evolution of your business going? But I think COVID changed so many dynamics of things and pushed things a lot, forward. Where do you see the next couple of years, or 5 years, or 10 years, your business evolving to?
Well, I mean, our trade specifically, the things that we do when we install materials, our goods and services, if you will, on a building, it's still hands-on. There is no technology for applying waterproofing. There's still, you're still working within close proximity. There's guys piled on top of guys, and ladies for that matter, tradespeople, working shoulder to shoulder. As far as changes, I mean, I've sat with that thought. I mean, daily. It comes up daily. The biggest thing for us is just keeping up with the technology side of the business, whether it's employment screenings, safety changes, anything related to current site conditions, connecting technology pieces. We still have a lot of fragmented technology. You use a specific software for accounting, and one for timekeeping, and one for project management. We're working with a developer to kind of help us link those technologies together so that there's less redundancy and more accountability, better metrics through the business, so that we can understand what we're doing and not doing, especially as the tradesman workforce ages, and there isn't a whole group of young men and women standing there waiting to come into the trades. So, having conversations, joining various, trade associations, and just being involved. We're a union contractor, so we get correspondence with them, and we ask a lot of our union trades to train our people, not just for the hands-on stuff, but for the technology, blueprints that are in the palm of your hand on an iPhone.
Yeah.
Just all of that. And at the end of the day, that kind of helps with the millennials that we speak of, these younger men and women that, are looking for, they don't fit the college mold, just like I didn't. They work with their hands. They think, they like their visual. The best thing about construction is you get to see the whole process. You see it from a hole in the ground to, a landmark, like I said. Connecting that to the technology part of it is something that the industry is working towards. As a company, I think we're a tick ahead, but that's kind of how I roll. I'm always looking to push the envelope as far as how do we get better. And really, at the end of the day, the technology part is the biggest thing that's going to kind of move us forward. Like I said, the human resource part of it related to the trades and what we do. I don't know that there's going to be, at the end of the day, we still have to waterproof a building, and there's only a couple ways to do it. So the technology is in this side of the business, the pre-construction side of the business, sales, workforce development, training, accountability, all the different metrics.
Yeah.
Which is all cool. I dig it.
Yeah, no, I love what you're talking about because, if you are always keeping up with technology, especially in a field that's hands-on like yours, then you're always going to be in the forefront. So you're almost in that creating your plan B and C. A lot of companies who were really forward thinking with technology over the last 5 years have found themselves in less trouble today because they're able to just use technology, whether it's, gathering data, providing a service, artificial intelligence, machines. It's the investment of technology, I think, is critical, and people. So I love what you're talking about, because I don't know if any of us have really the answer per se, but I think if we keep, like you're talking about, if we keep talking to a lot of people, if we surround ourselves with mentors, and if we keep on researching and investing in technology, then we're staying ahead and asking for help. We're always staying ahead of the curve. So we're prepped. No, I love that. All right, Patrick, go ahead.
Yeah, and it was kind of, I've always felt like I'm a really blessed, lucky individual, despite the challenges, despite whatever. And some of the things early on that we did out of necessity, just based on how we evolved in the business, really kind of set us up to be able to work remotely. Just the things that some companies had to struggle with. And it kind of blew me away just to kind of hear some of the companies that were struggling, because I'm just this little old construction company, albeit we do business for the biggest guys. I felt like we were ahead of the curve. And so that kind of just proved that we're doing something right, intentional, with purpose, or just maybe a help from the man above, so to speak.
Love it.
We found ourselves in a good spot.
Yeah, but you know what? When you're in your purpose, when you're in alignment, good things happen, and good things happen to good people and good leaders like you. So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that. Before I ask you the last couple of questions, tell people who your ideal client is and how they can get a hold of you.
Ideal client. Somebody that pays their bills on time. No, we find ourselves, the best companies we work for are the companies that pretty much match our vision and values. They work hard, they invest in their people, they develop leaders. The biggest thing is they recognize the importance of what we do for a living and how it makes them successful.
Yeah.
We were fortunate recently to pull on we got our guy. We made a huge talent acquisition that's going to be a game changer for us. And one of the biggest things for us is just, we qualify our clients. We don't bid every client just because we need. I'd almost rather go without than to take, all this business is risky. All business is risky.
Yeah.
We don't take just for the sake of. We do a good job of qualifying the people we do business with, who we choose to do business with, based on who we are as a company and as individuals. we're honest, we work hard.
Yeah.
We're going to show up and we're going to give it our all, no matter what, whether it's costing us money or, the intent is to make you, our client, look good. And through that, we do good and look good. And, we find ourselves in good positions to get jobs that our competition thinks we shouldn't have, but we have them. And that's the satisfaction in what we do, as business owners.
Yeah. And then your website is industrialservices1.com. There's your phone number.
Industrial Services one.com. We're here in Ann Arbor. You can find us, on the internet. We do have Instagram, Industrial Services, and we're out here, and we'll be leveling up and doubling down and hitting it hard here for the foreseeable future.
And I just want to, and your number is 734-761-8370. Pat, my last couple questions for you.
Yep.
You're in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Go Blue, and a lot of people graduated college these last couple weeks in a world that looks completely different than what they thought in the beginning of the year. What advice would you give a college student today who's graduating college in the last couple weeks?
That's a good question, because I didn't graduate college, but I think really, you have to be willing to take a risk, maybe step out of your comfort zone. I know a lot of people that have graduated in. I've got a lady that works with us. She was in agriculture. She's got a master's in agricultural business. She's working in the construction industry. She loves it. Yeah. She had to take a risk to get here. So I think really, one of the cool things about where we're at in society is everybody's, kind of looking outward and maybe looking at different scenarios for life and trying to find their happy spot, if you will. And at the end of the day, the only way you're going to find that is through taking a chance. Take a chance, learn everything you can from the experience, and you'll be better for it in the long term. You might not see it today or even next year, but in the long term, every job I had, whether I loved it or hated it, I learned something from.
Yeah.
And I think if you're doing it with that mindset, that's what's ultimately going to make you successful, whether that's you're happy or you're a billionaire.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%. Well, Pat, I appreciate you taking time to be on the show. I appreciate you sharing your wisdom. I appreciate you sharing your insight on leadership, on just, working hard and grit and everything that needs to get done to really connect your vision with your values and growing your business and everything that you do. So, thanks for taking time to be on the show. Tell everybody one more time how they can get a hold of you, or I'll tell everybody. Industrial Services, one.com, 734-761-8370. And your ideal client is?
Anybody that's honest, trustworthy, works hard, pays their bills. We'd love to have you.
All right, good. Well, Pat, thanks, man. I appreciate you taking time to talk with us, and
it was fun. I appreciate it.
Continued success, and have a great rest of the day, man.
Now I can FaceTime my daughter wants to know what I want for dinner tonight, because it's our 14th wedding anniversary of my wife. So,
happy anniversary today?
Yeah, today, right now.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Best thing I did for her was go to work today.
Okay. That was your anniversary present. Happy anniversary.
Exactly. I'm going to go to work today, honey.
Yeah. Happy anniversary to you two. Have a great night, and continued success and great happiness for you and your family.
Appreciate it. Namaste, right?
Namaste.